Hello, everybody. This is Anthony for Investors Underground. Today, I have the pleasure to get to speak with one of the outstanding members within the Investors Underground and trading communities. It's my pleasure to chat with Mr. Eduardo Briceño. Eduardo graduated university with a degree in electrical engineering. He went on to get an MBA in finance, followed by a trading and investment diploma. He began trading with $1,900 and recently reached the milestone of exceeding $1 million in trading profits. In addition to being a successful trader, he is also a husband, a father, a coach, and educator, helping introduce trading to Spanish speakers around the world. Hello, Eduardo. Thank you for being here and taking the time to speak with me today.
Anthony, how's it going? I love the way you said Eduardo Briceño. It was perfect.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I tried to at least pronounce the guest's name the best that I could. My Spanish is horrible, but I thought I would at least try to nail your first name.
You're right on track, man. Right on track.
It's great to see you, Eduardo. Thank you for being here. And I want to congratulate you on surpassing $1 million in trading profits. That's awesome, and it's really inspiring.
It is, man. To tell you the truth, it was quite a journey, because when you have that milestone on your head, it messes you up. It messes with your trading. So right now I try to, let it flow, and that's it. And it's way better, way better. Like the pressure of that milestone, I tend to tell people to detach from money. And when you have that milestone on your head, it messes with your trading. So I'm glad I did already.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, as traders, the more successful we get, there's always this new amount or new milestone. And yet at the same time, it's like this paradox. We have to detach the best that we can from our P&L.
Totally. One of the things that I tell people all the time is try to follow a process. Like, don't be goal oriented. Try to be process oriented in order to make sure that you're making the things that you have to do and you're supposed to do, and results will follow, but you have to trust the process first.
How long did it take you to set up your process and find something that works for you?
I don't remember quite well how much time specifically, but I do remember that it gets optimized all the time. And one of the things that I think it's the most important one is try to make that strategy fit on your personality. Because I probably have a risk tolerance different than you, and I probably have background different than you. And if I try to copy your strategy, I might get a lot of trouble. So the optimizing my strategy process is something that will never end. So I got lucky in a way when I got to when the pandemic hit, because I said it like this, because I think luck is a matter of when preparation meets opportunity. So I was really, really prepared at that time. And the opportunities you got in that market were crazy. So obviously, when you got those kind of markets, your strategy as the market will shift and as the markets are cycle, you got to be really, really determined on what you're going to do. But you also have to be really flexible so you can be resilient enough to adapt to the market that is coming. And that's why I think 2022 was so difficult to so many traders, because they were, used to this crazy market. And when it slowed down and you wanted to do the same things that you did before, it was super hard, super difficult to adapt. So that's why I'm telling you, it got me obviously to be profitable. It was like probably 3 or 4 years. And then when pandemic hit, like it exploded, and that the 1900 to 1 million, I think it was like 3 years.
How did you first get interested in the stock market and trading? What captured your interest about trading
To tell you the truth and to be honest, I don't really know. I don't really remember, but probably it was one of those Hollywood movies. I was living in Venezuela, and when I was studying electrical engineer, and I remember like at half of my career, I told my dad like, this is not what I want to do, and he was like, dude, like graduate from electrical engineer, and then do whatever you want to do because you're halfway. So that's what I did, and that's I tried to go to some they were called casas de bolsa. I don't know how to say that in English. Maybe it's like brokerage houses or something like that. And that time, when I was just getting into the finance world, I think it was 2010 or something like that. Chavez, who was president back then, he seized all the brokerage houses. So I had that plan and I couldn't do it. So I did like maybe 3 years in the corporate world with electrical engineer, and then I went to apply for I went to do an MBA in finance, thinking that it will give me like lights on the trading business. And when I saw that it was all like maybe managing other people's money and working for banks more than anything else, I was like, this is not what I wanted to do. And some of the teachers there, caught that, and he recommended a trading and investment course. That's what I did. I saw there all these instruments like forex, futures, all those general things. And what I realized there was liquidity and volatility are probably the most important things for a day trader. And I started like looking on the internet of these volatile things, and I saw penny stocks, and that's how I started in the in the trading business. It was 8 years ago.
Okay. And from your trading and investment course and getting that diploma to some of the other resources that you found, how did you learn how to trade? I'm assuming that you probably learned more on the internet than you did about trading, getting your MBA.
Totally. Yeah, totally, man. Like I remember back then when you put trading in Google, team sites appeared all over the place. And that's one of the things that I probably thank him the most is he got trading in everyone. Every single person that Googled trading at that time back then was, that kind of trading. And I saw penny stocks. I started his challenge, and I really like penny stocks and small caps, and that's my niche now, really got into me. And I totally understood, and it was a part of me. And I think it was like a click, like really, really fast. When I saw Forex, when I saw futures, when I saw options, it really didn't click quite as fast as small caps. So when I saw small caps, I saw all these courses, and then you started like meeting people, a lot of people, and meeting people leads you to another resources. Obviously, Investors Underground back then was really big at that time, but there were maybe 3 that were like active in a way. And well, you start grabbing something here, grabbing something there, and that's something that really developed my system. I learned from a lot of people, and I learned really different styles. And that's why I think, and that's why I told you before, that your personality, it's the one that leads. You don't get to adapt your personality to a certain style of trading. You have to grab something here that it's for your personality, grab something there, and then you develop your own system based on edge, based on systematical edge, based on us taking asymmetrical risk. And that part of statistics, that part of mathematical, kind of trading, that really got into me. But what really made the difference was the mindset thing.
What was it about the small caps that really appealed to your personality? How did you find your niche and your strategy?
I think the pump and dump scheme really made sense to me. The pump and dump scheme, these guys, it has happened in history, it has happened like forever, and these kind of bubbles where you see a crazy run up, and when you see a crazy downfall, crazy fall on prices, and then you see rebounds, that thing really clicked for me. Like, I really understand what these guys do in order to take advantage of retailers and take advantage of people that don't know quite well the system. And it really clicked for me. And that's why I think it was something that, I don't know, it was meant to be, I think, in a way.
You had mentioned the importance of psychology in trading and mindset. And so I wanted to ask, how were you able to overcome some of the early challenges at the start of your trading journey and remain focused and dedicated to trading in order to finally succeed and become profitable?
What challenge are you talking about? I didn't overcome any challenges, didn't have any challenges. Dude, I probably am the guy that faced more challenges ever. And this is something that is really interesting to discuss, because I see a lot of traders in Twitter that they're like against this mindset kind of thing. And they're obviously a little bit right, because you have to be really good at trading. And it's like a triad. You have strategy, you have risk management, and you have mindset. Obviously, the three things are really important. Thing is, we're supposed to be good at the technical one. We're supposed to have a strategy. We're supposed to have edge. Otherwise, we're not doing anything. Once we're good at the strategy, once we know our setup, we know exactly how much of an edge we have in each setup, we obviously have to have risk management. But in order to apply the both of those, we gotta be, and we must be, these kind of enlightened traders in a way. And that's where mindset comes into place. And I think my main thing, and what I have, my strength, is my mindset. Because I've seen that the way I approach trading, I'm not the best trader in the world. If you see my charts, you will probably see it. Like, I'm not the best technical trader there is. But what I am good at is how to approach trading and seeing trading as a business. When you see trading as a business, you started seeing like it's an entrepreneurial kind of activity. So every time you get better as a person, you get better as a trader. And that's what reflected on me. And when I realized that, I started to build up this amazing person in order to be a better trader. And that worked perfectly. So every time I face a challenge, and I still do, and I will, like, we always try to grow, right? So obviously we will face challenges every single time. But when I did, and when I do, it strengthened me as a person. So that's why I try to, one of the books that I loved was Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And that's something that, it's a Joe Dispenza book. And that's one of the books that really helped me a lot in building that mindset, in order to overcome those crazy moments. And I had a lot, Anthony. Like, I came to the States and like financially we're on our bottom. And that's why I was trading with so little money, because I didn't have like the financial resources in order to, to do trading as it is supposed to do. Like, I tell people every time, try to detach from money and don't try to survive with trading. Because if you do, you're going to put a lot of emotional attachment to every single trade, and you're not going to be trading candles. You're not going to be trading, the setup. You're going to be trading your rent, or you're going to be trading your baby's diapers. I don't know. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm telling you that I think mindset is probably one of the most important thing that you have to be focused as a trader in order to become successful.
Trading is difficult as it is when everything around you is stable and you have sufficient resources. It's a lot harder when you have to think about how you're going to make rent or mortgage payments or some of the more practical things that everyday people have to think about. And so, how were you able eventually to disassociate, your P&L with your money for living, and how were you able to grow your account?
I think, if I tell you the truth, I don't remember quite well how that was, because I was in an automatic kind of behavior. What I did was, I was in a really, really, I was struggling a lot. And what I realized was, okay, I need to change. I must change, because I already loaned like 3 accounts. And I realized, that's why I realized, like, in a personal experience, that you don't get to survive with trading. That's how I, realized that every single guru, every single teacher, every single coach will tell you that you cannot do that. But you think you're special in a way, and you try to do it and you messed up and you blow up your account. So that's how I realized that. Once I did, I was like, there's no way that I keep doing this, because if I keep doing it, it might be really harmful, not just for me, but for my family. So I had this really shocking experience in order to, those kind of experience that you must change. And that's what I did. I had that. Some of my friends, they got me this book, which I appreciate a lot. And that book, I got something from that really, really good. It tells you that you got to see yourself as a successful trader already in a parallel universe, in a parallel future. There is this amazing trader that is you in 2025 or 2030, I don't know. And you get to reverse engineer what that guy is doing, because that guy knows how to do it. So you start like building up all these habits that that guy has, and reverse engineer everything that he is doing. And what you will see is that guy is focused on the process. He's not, seeing, oh, I made like $5,000 today, or I made like $1,000 today. No, he's just thinking about, oh, I made this setup today. I messed up this because I was not disciplined enough. I nailed this because I add to my winner when it confirmed, and I hold my position, and I, in that trend, I made it beautiful. That kind of thing, that kind of what an artist is doing, and what I did was try to build the habits that that guy was doing. And when I translated to the guy that I was, remember, there's a gap between the person that you are and the person that you want to become. And I think the link was that conviction and that vision that I was going to become that guy if I follow that process. So I think that idea was the one that made me understand that it doesn't matter if I did $200 an hour, $500 an hour, or $20 an hour even. What matters is how I do it. And I remember there's a book also called Chop Wood, Carry Water. And it's just like that. You got to be really, really faithful to your process, and you got to trust it, because there are times that you will lose, and nobody wants to lose money. And I think we're going to talk about a little bit more of that later, but losses are part of your system, but nobody wants to take them, you know. And this process, it's when you follow that process, it makes it really easy to accept all those losses, because they are in a system which you trust and which is proven already that is successful in a time. So I think that's how I could, detach from money in a way, detach from all the struggling, obviously after blowing up a lot of accounts, obviously. And I have to tell you, like, I was at the right time when the market came. Like when this 2020, 2021 market came, I was really in the zone, and I was really focused, and I really took advantage of the market that we had back then.
I've heard many traders say very similar things about staying focused on the process, not so much the P&L. I think it's also really interesting that you almost describe maybe like tapping into the multiverse and thinking about these other versions of yourself or ourselves that might exist, and like you mentioned, reverse engineer what they might be doing in order to visualize success and turn it into our reality. I think that's a really unique and powerful perspective.
Yeah, it's like metaphysics, it's quite crazy. But I've always told people that you got to do whatever you think it works for you. And there are people who are like, oh, I don't know, there's no way an ice bath will, make you a better trader. But think about it. If it does, and if you believe that ice bath, or that, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, that meditation, or that, I don't know, that jog before trading, or that mantra that you're going to tell yourself before trading, if that helps, dude, that helps. And that's okay. And nobody can tell you that it doesn't work. What will tell you that it works or it doesn't is at the end of a proper set of parameters and a set of time frame, that will tell you if that works or not. For me, it's all about that. Like I'm a really consistent trader. I don't go for the home runs. I go for the singles. And one of the things that as I spend a lot of time on the screens, as I told you, and this is something that I'm trying to work on, I need to have this really, really clear mindset. And if my body is not aligned with that peaceful mindset, I screw it on trading. So that's why it's really important for me to balance between all these things that I can do in order to improve my wealth being, my health, and that will align myself with the market in a way. If I'm not aligned with the market, maybe it's because of something that I have my mind in other place. And that's why I think it's really important to be present when you're trading. And being present is one of the most difficult things ever, because you're always thinking about that loss that you had, or you might be fearful of the market turning on you, or you might be hopeful when you're in a loss that the market will eventually go to your break-even point. Those thoughts are not the mindfulness state that you need in order to trade. So even if you have the perfect system, if you're not good here in order to apply that, you're going to be screwed,
Yeah, that's really important to talk about the importance of mindset and becoming sort of at peace with and finding unity with oneself and being able to master their emotions and keep themselves emotionally in check, as one might say. Is there anything that you do either before you start trading or while you're in a trade to sort of calm yourself down, to keep yourself level headed and less emotional than you otherwise would be if you just watch every tick and sort of let the P&L ride your emotions?
Totally. I was a fan of I discovered biohacking a couple of years ago, and as I was really like undisciplined back then, and this thing really helped me in order to become more disciplined. And this system that I found out, uh, in a way, translated to my trading. And I do a lot of things. I used to do more, and I got undisciplined again because of joy and life. Sometimes you get, you know, sometimes you gotta have that balance. Uh, but when I started, I was really, really disciplined, and some of those habits really stick on me and really, really help me. For example, I meditate a lot, and people would think that meditation is, I don't know, you get like a Buddha and you start like, it is not like that, man. Like you can meditate, even jogging you can meditate, even fishing you can meditate. Okay, so I do this kind of exercises, Tony Robbins exercises that are called priming, and they're really perfect for me because I'm really an impatient kind of guy. And those are 12 minutes of my day that habit really stuck with me. The other thing is I get up at 5:50 in the morning and I go for a jog. If it's not a jog, if I'm too tired, just for a walk, it doesn't matter. But the thing to show up on on that lake that I have right beside my house, it just gets me like, okay, I'm starting the day as it should. So that's something that I had. I used to do IVs. Have you heard about it? The IV thing?
No.
It's quite interesting. That's another thing that you that if I tell you about, we're gonna spend more time. But basically, you get vitamins in a more appropriate way to your body. That's it. And I did all those things. I'm not doing it right now, but I definitely have to, and I'm definitely trying to visit another time this biohacking thing, because the time that I did it was my best time in trading ever. Like, it was so amazing how can I how I translated that discipline that I had with my body and with my mind when I translated to trading. It was beautiful, Anthony. Beautiful. When I left, life sometimes gets in the way, and you have your issues, or you have a baby coming, or you cannot sleep very well, or you have this crazy party that you need to be in because you're celebrating something cool. So I really love to be in touch with my people, with my family, with my friends. And sometimes that discipline, creates a little gap. And that's why I try to, these past maybe months, I try to be a little bit more flexible. And that's why some of the habits that I built back then are not as disciplined as they should. But I'm trying to, get back to it, because I felt, bro, I'm telling you, like, I felt amazing. And when I was trading, I was in the zone and I was so clear that I want to get back to that. Totally.
Yeah, I think that's a lot for people to take into consideration and to remember that even profitable traders are looking for ways to improve and get better. And also, it's inspiring to hear that successful traders sometimes get a little bit less disciplined. And just like us, they're working to get back to that place of being really disciplined. So thank you for sharing that. I think that's really helpful to hear, actually.
Totally. And what you said, I think trading is one of the most beautiful professions there is because it really, really makes you a better person. Like the way that you approach trading in order to grow every single time will make you a better person. You have no choice. You have to be a better person. So that's something that I really love about trading, and that's why I always go to these events. Like I was last week, 2 weeks ago, I was in a trading event that Roland Wolf did here, and I was like this, the front row, like seeing this pattern that he was showing. I'm like, I'm gonna apply that, and I did, and it was eye opener. You know, every time I see Nate, today I was asking Nate a few things, and every time I get that insight from him, it's eye opener. Because when you see the markets at the end, when you're buying, someone else is selling, you got to understand what that person is thinking in order to understand how will you profit from the trade that you're taking. So I think it's really, really important to have that mindset of growing every single day and try to pursue that ideal trader that you want to become.
Absolutely. There's always something to strive for and a new way to get better, and always striving for small improvements as traders, always trying to chase this sort of ideal perfection. And yet there never is one, but we're always chasing it, it seems to be.
I hate the word like perfection because you will never met the standard that perfection requires, but the it's as simple as being better than yesterday. And I think that's what you want to pursue, like that ideal. um for example, right now I'm having my struggles in order to scale my trading, and I need to do uncomfortable things in order to grow. And when you have like at first you don't have good results, so you try everything. When you're at my stage where you have like 8 years trading and you have some results, some okay results, and provides food in your table, it's really difficult to stop doing that and start doing other things. And that reminds me of Tiger Woods. After he won everything, he started to change his swing. And that's something quite impressive because that guy probably was the best golfer it was back then. And still, he was practicing his swing because I might be a little bit better. And that mindset is the one that will get you to wherever you want to be in life, I think.
You had mentioned, scaling. And so I wanted to ask a couple questions about your scaling because you definitely have grown your account over time. And so one of the questions I had was, what was the process like for you scaling up your account from starting with $1,900 to, growing significant amounts of money and capital? Were there particular obstacles that you faced, when you were maybe adding more shares or seeing bigger P&L swings? What sort of challenges did you face when you were growing and scaling your account?
As I as I scalp a lot, I don't scalp. I recycle shares a lot. So whenever I try to make money on the noise, on the on that oscillation, if you're in a trend, if you're in a downtrend, uh, that oscillation that the stock does, I try to make money even in that oscillation. Obviously, I try to have that core idea. So if there is like a first red day, I probably open my position probably in pre-market and I close it on the close. But in the meantime, I do a lot of things with that stock because it's oscillating. It will not go straight down. So when I started trading with a little bit more of money, obviously liquidity, it's an issue that I have to face, because when you get when you try to get those little moves, if you have too much size, you're the one who's screwing the price up, you know? So uh, if I want to scale my style of trading, I probably will have to stop doing the making money on the noise kind of thing and try to have a bigger picture and try to slam that. If it's a first red day, slam that bid when you see that green to red move, and then be patient and let it run. That's one of the things that it's super difficult for me, because I'm used to, because back then I had little money, and I still do. Like, my accounts are not big. Like, I have a $60,000 account. Like, I don't trade with a lot of money. Thing is, I'm really, really efficient with that capital, because I don't use $60,000 right away. I use like probably 10,000 here, 5,000 there, 11,000 there. So I try to um, get in the volatility a lot of times, and that noise on that core idea will get me my money. If I want to, there are a lot of people that will tell me, Eduardo, why don't I, give you money so you can trade it? And I'm like, there's no way I can do it, because my strategy doesn't allow me to do that. So that's why I need to find the same strategy, but another technique, in order to scale, and in order to use a little bit more money to, obviously gain more money off it.
Do you think this sort of style is unique to small caps? Do you think you would have a similar type of trading style if you were trading mid or large caps?
I've tried to trade a few times indexes, large caps, mid caps, and I suck at it. Like, I'm really, really bad at it. I remember in 2022, where small caps were not as popular, I tried to open my mind a little bit to other markets, but I understand too good the relationship between the institutional, the insiders, and the retailing in small caps. I don't do it quite well in mid caps and large caps, or in the indexes. So it's something that I will eventually learn, and that's something that I'm trying to learn right now. I'm trying to learn how to swing, and I have like 3 shares in a stock. Like, I swung AI, and I had just three shares, 4 shares. Like, that's not gonna make me, a lot of money, but the process of it and what's behind it in 5 years will give me a lot of money. And that's something that people are not understanding quite well, because they think that if they are going to use their time to do something, they have to be rewarded in a way. But in trading, you have to take it as a skill, and that skill will develop. And the thing that will develop that skill is refining the process. And if you have emotional attachment to the process, as money might be, you're not letting the process to develop your skill. So that's why it's really important to, at first, when you're learning something, go with little size. Like, we'll go with small size. Why would you go with $10,000 or $20,000? Just go with 1 or 2 shares and let it ride and let it understand. As I am, this has been a great exercise for me, because swinging makes you have this bigger picture idea on your head. And as I am a really, really focused day trader, really, really, I don't even trade the charts. I trade the charts, but I memorize them, and I just look at it at the time on sales. I don't look at the chart when I'm trading. I look at I look at it at a glance, but where I focus on is the tape. So that's why I'm telling you that this idea of learning how to swing have given me this big picture understanding of what a stock is doing, and it has helped me a lot with how to manage all these moves, in a sort of speak.
Yeah, that's interesting, and it goes back to what we were talking about, the importance of process for the sake of process, looking at the process in the long term, not necessarily the short term benefits of a process. Like with you trading just maybe a few shares in order to get a new type of strategy, a new process, become more comfortable with something that you're looking to grow.
Totally, and that's why I think, and here's something that when I see people kind of frustrated about being in trading for a year or 2 years and not making money of it or not being profitable. Dude, if you're trying to be a doctor, you spend probably 10 years before making real money, studying and understanding and spending a lot of money in college and in studies. And so it gives you a perspective. I was preparing something for this weekend, and I came across this story of a guy named Mel Fisher, who was this treasure hunter, and he went pursuing this treasure, this Spanish galleon, for 17 years. Dude, he spent freaking 17 years looking for something that there were no guarantees that you're gonna find it. There were no guarantees that you're gonna get some money for trying. None. He didn't get paid any money. And he did. He eventually found it. And it was like a $450 million treasure. And what you have to think about that is you gotta understand that guy had a mindset which helped him trust the process and trust what he was doing. And first, you got to understand that there is a treasure. He understood and he believed that there was a treasure. In trading, you must believe that there's a treasure. There's something there that it is really valuable. This skill is probably the most valuable skills there is in the world. The second thing is you gotta believe that you will find it, because there's a treasure there, but if I don't find it, it won't be mine. It won't be other people's success. You gotta be really. That's why I'm telling you that conviction that you will have if you see yourself in 5 years, in 10 years as a successful trader, and reverse engineer that. I think it's key. So you gotta believe that you will find that treasure. And the third thing is you gotta understand if it's worth it for you. Because if you find it and this treasure was, I don't know, $50, or a silver, medal that it's $50, it was not worth it for him to spend 17 years on that. You gotta understand and you gotta believe that this trading thing is worth it for you. Because if you're fighting with your wife because you're probably spending your savings and your family savings on this, and you're probably spending a lot of time and energy into this, you got to believe that it's going to be worth it. If you don't, you're probably not going to make it. And obviously you got to be passionate about it. That guy loved to hunt treasures. I love to, dude, it's 7:40 in the afternoon. I've been in my computer since 6 a.m. or so, looking at stocks and stuff. I'm delightful of speaking about stocks. And tomorrow I'm excited to trade tomorrow, or to look at the charts, not even to trade, just to look at this beauty just with popcorns on, So I think those 4 things are really important in order for you to achieve something in trading.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really interesting story. I mean, for a treasure hunter, to the outside world, maybe they're seen as someone who's wasting their time year after year after year, like you had mentioned, 17 years. But at a certain point, when the treasure is found, they go from being the hopeless person who can't find treasure to brilliant. And oh,
Yes.
so lucky. And of course, they were going to find it. And just how quickly the perception of someone goes from maybe they're wasting their time to, oh, look what they've done. I could have done that. It's so easy, sort of thing. But I think your story highlights the importance of having a belief in oneself, regardless of what everybody else might think.
Totally. And you know what? I think about this. By the way, everybody is like, teach me how to trade. Once you get the success, but before they were like, dude, get a job. What are you doing that? But in a side note, what you just said about uh this treasure hunter as they are being seen, and then eventually you will get it. You might not get it in trading, but you know what you will get? As trading prepares you to be a better person, you're going to be a better person, and you're going to be succeeding at something that trading might was or might be the that connecting the dots kind of thing that I don't remember. I don't know if you remember that speech that Steve Jobs did, but it might be something that will lead you to something else. And as trading makes you grow in a really harsh way, trading is probably one of the toughest professions there is. Not because of the I have a thread in my Twitter that many people will say that trading is tough or anything like. No, bro, tough is, you know, uh, cleaning windows in a freaking skyscraper or something like that. That's difficult. That's hard. Trading is a challenge because it is you against you. And it's something that if you don't have accountability and if you don't have responsibility for everything that happens in that account, you're screwed. So that accountability, that challenge of becoming better, that will lead you to another thing that is going to be amazing, even if you don't find that treasure.
That's a great point. Absolutely. Trading and continuing to practice trading doesn't guarantee success, but it sets in place a lot of the practices, performance, preparation, focusing on ourselves and being the best that we can be, all applicable for anything else we'll do in life.
Totally. I agree 100%.
And one of the questions, sort of related to that, Eduardo, is as the trader's looking to become profitable and they might be struggling and they might doubt themselves, how important is it for a trader to have a strong support network like family, an understanding spouse or significant other for the trader?
I was lucky, and I cannot answer that question as someone that didn't have that. Dude, my wife, there was some time that trading was doing okay for us, but it was not great. And once my green card came in, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a job. Like, this is too hard. This is not working. Like, I don't have enough money in order to. And she was like, oh yeah, you're gonna do that after maybe 4 or 5 years. I don't remember. She was like, Eduardo, I'm gonna divorce you if you do that, because I will not have a frustrated guy besides me. So if you quit trading, I'm gonna divorce. That's something really different that happens to people, because people are getting the divorce card just because if they keep trading, right? But I really think it's really important that you surround yourself with people that are probably doing the same thing that you are. That's why I think I I've been a member of Investors Underground for like maybe 4 years or so, and it's a place where you not only meet a lot of great people, but here's the thing about networking. You got to network with, obviously everybody wants to network with the guy that knows the most, right? Obviously, like you want to learn from him. But there is something about networking that in my experience, was really, really good thing for me, that I network not only with the guys that were better than me, but the guys that were peers. And not only with the guys that were peers, that we were sharing the same struggles, the same, this challenge, this huge challenge that is overcoming, being unprofitable. But I get to network also with the guys that were less experienced than me. And when I try to pass that experience to them, I learned a lot from what trading should be. And that environment, you will find it in a community. You will find people that are better than you. You will find peers, and you will find people that are not as experienced as you. Each one of them will teach you and will make you a better trader, even if the guy that it's coming from scratch. So I think what you guys do in Investors Underground, it's amazing. You have a lot of people that I think is one of the most complete communities there is. And obviously, when you have these conferences as Traders for a Cause, for example, and you get to know that you touch the person that is maybe in a video or in a chat, and you think you know him forever, and you get to finally be in person to person, that feedback, that it's that energy, that's something that goes beyond, because in a way, those experiences that they have overcome, they go right past to you, not in a as you would think that they tell you or they lecture you in something. No, it's just the way they behave. You understand how they think, you understand their mindset, and you go like, all right, is this something that I'm doing? Is this something that I should do? Oh, if that guy is successful enough to copy his habits, I will definitely, or her habits, definitely I will do it. So I think a community is essential to the process of being a successful trader, building up a personality that is going to be successful at trading.
Yes, absolutely. Nate does an exceptional job with Investors Underground and setting up Traders for a Cause so that traders from all over the world can come get together with other traders who they might have only seen on the internet but feel such a connection to, and we're able to learn from one another and stay in touch, and over the years really evolve and really learn from one another. It's absolutely a great community. And I know that you are also a mentor and educator. Can you speak a little bit about the vibrant Spanish speaking community that you've helped really cultivate?
Yeah, as you have a lot of content in English, a lot, and really valuable one. But in Spanish, I don't know what it is, but you have a lot of like the content that you will find, it's not as trustworthy. So I started doing this. It was like maybe 4 years ago, or 3 or 4 years ago, and we developed this community. That what I did, and to be honest and to tell you the truth, I tried to mimic the best thing of each group that I have ever been in. And each of the great things about Investors Underground or Team Sykes or JTrader, everything that I loved about those, I just try to copy them, to adapt them, obviously, into, we like reggaeton, we're a little bit like joyful and playful, and make it like that, make it like a little bit more Caribbean kind of thing. And that's what we built. And this is the most beautiful thing that I've built, because that's fulfillment. And that's another level. That's another thing. That's probably obviously it as I was telling you about the people that are a little bit less experienced than you, when you explain to them a setup, when you explain to them that they need to be disciplined, and that accountability, and lead a group of people in order to they can achieve their dreams and their uh, cravings for profitability, that's something that make me better. So I have I have none but positive things to tell you about that community. We do live trading. I live trade for people. That's something that it really help a lot, because sometimes you at first, for example, there are a lot of people that tell you the pattern, and you see the pattern already, it has already happened. But while it's happening, it's different to see it in person. It's different to see it live. It's different. So that's those kind of things like really help. And I try to coach people in a really personal level, because I have seen that trading, as we just discussed, it's a matter of mindset. Obviously, there are technically everybody knows how to make a setup. Everybody knows what's first red day or first green day, or everybody knows it. Everybody with a little experience, obviously. But the difference between the people that plan it and the people that execute it, it's mindset. So as a coach, you really have to get into that mindset. So I probably know when my guys fight with their spouses. I probably know if they're having, issues with their kids, or issues with their brothers, or some kind of issue with their girlfriend or their boyfriend or whatever. And you really understand why a trader is not profitable. You really understand when you're coaching people, and when you get that feedback from people that are not. It's like Tom Hogarth's Best Loser Wins. What he tells you is something that we call via negativa. Via negativa is how did you make the Michelangelo? The David to Michelangelo were some people ask Michelangelo how they made the David, right? The David. And he was really simple about his answer. He just told that person, I just removed everything that was not the David, right? So that via negativa thing is what this guy explained us. And you just have to do the opposite of what 95% people are doing, right? Because you got to be really different and think different than what most people are doing in trading. So when you get that feedback, like really honest feedback, so in Twitter you'll see not that openness, not that kind of honesty. When you really get to coach and to work with people shoulder by shoulder, you will understand the struggles, and you will understand the psyche of somebody that is struggling and wants to be there. And you will see what are the patterns of those people, and what are the patterns of the professional profitable ones, and you will see the difference. So I'm trying to get those guys. I want to take them to the other level, and that's why I think personal coaching is really, really important.
Absolutely. And have you found that there's certain characteristics that exceptional students have?
I think it's one, and you're gonna say it's no way it's one, but it's persistence. And what I've seen is everybody has the same issues. Everybody, like every single book you open and you read in trading psychology, or anything that you want to call it, you will see that it's like they're talking to you, like in a stage of whatever you are on. That's why I love to reread those books, because they talk to me in another stage that I am. But it's incredible that they describe exactly what your issue is and how you can solve it. So it's just persistence and having the vision and the conviction that they will get there. And what I've seen is the people who spend the most time, I mean, if you have 1 year or you have 3 years, 4 years, obviously the experience and having the resilience to adapt and to adjust those mistakes that you're doing. This is not just spending time. It's working on it. It's journaling. It's hard work. It's really hard work. If you persist long enough with the correct habits, and there's one habit that is really important. It's resilience. If you can be flexible enough to to change and to adjust and to markets are cycle. So you got to understand that sometimes there will be slow markets where you got to behave different than when there's faster markets or more aggressive markets. So that resilience will translate into creating those habits, and that the persistence of having those habits do it in a consistent way, that will definitely set you apart from the rest. Definitely.
Okay, thank you. And if it's okay with you, Eduardo, I would love to go through sort of a lightning round set of questions, kind of
Sure.
quick questions, pretty quick answers, if that's okay.
Of course, of course.
Awesome. My first question is, what is the best piece of trading advice that you've ever been given or have ever heard?
I gotta give this to Nate. Probably it's because of the stage that I am as a trader. Probably not many will relate, but Nate told me something that really changed my whole perspective of trading. And this is someone who has been 8 years in trading, so it's quite big for me. And he said something like, you have doing this trading for so long for income that you forgot that wealth is bigger than income. So when you approach trading as something that will give you income, you will treat it way different than if you see it as something that will give you wealth. So creating wealth through trading, it's another game. And that's the game that I'm playing right now. I've played the income game for so long that I'm so used to it. I built my habits and my patterns and my behavior in this income mentality, in this income mindset, that I totally forgot about what I can really do with this and what my limitations are with the income mentality. So that advice is worth millions of dollars.
Are there any parts of your trading that you are still working to improve?
Yeah, the scaling part, obviously, and um, trying to see the big picture more. I'm really good at seeing like turns on the price and all those kind of things, but I'm focused on way too much into the noise. I make money out of it, okay money, like to provide to my family, and that's okay, that's cool. But Nate's advice again, like that's why I'm telling you that this advice was so big in my trading career, because the perception that I have with trading right now, obviously I have to be really uncomfortable to try new things and to lose money trying those things and blah blah blah. But in 5 years from now, it's gonna worth way much.
Are there any specific technical indicators that you like to have on your charts?
I use VWAP just for a reference, because as I trade momentum stocks, VWAP is really important. It's one of the few indicators that uh, has price and volume, together. But I don't make like decisions out of it. I try to see the bigger picture of the framework of the stock. and try to understand in which stage is that stock, and whether if it's extended, or whether if it's diluted, or whether it has news or something bigger that will cause the stock to move. So yeah, BWAP, and maybe there are some J traders has a really interesting indicator that are called the J lines. Those are EMAs, the 72 and the 89, and it's pretty cool to understand how people use them. And that's one of the things that I uh, take into account indicators as we're doing um, like a mass psychology analysis when we're trading. Those indicators are seen by a lot of people. So if those people are right, something will happen, and if those people are wrong, other thing will happen. So you probably could get or take advantage of either way if that works.
If you could give one piece of trading advice to all new traders to hear, what would it be?
Detach from money and have the vision and the conviction to see yourself as a successful trader, and reverse engineer what that guy did, and build those habits and stay focused in the process. It's a lot. I said like four, but in a way, I think that will give you a really great chance if you do it persistently in order to achieve success in trading.
Is there one piece of the overall puzzle of trading that you think people overlook? And what would that be?
I think people are way too focused on either of one of these triads. Either is strategy, either is mindset, or either is risk management. I think you gotta have all of them, and you gotta have that triad of risk management, strategy, and mindset. And I think the people that are way too focused on the system and they say this is the only thing that works, I think that they underestimate their mindset, because they have such a great mindset that they don't understand that it even is it's a thing, but it's quite a thing. I've been in the two sides, and you gotta have the three things. If you don't have mindset, you will not um, apply your strategy well enough. If you don't have risk management, the times where your strategy doesn't work, you're going to lose it all. And if you don't have strategy, nothing works. So you got to have the three of them.
For all of those people who are listening who want to learn more about you and your trading style, how can they do so?
Instagram, Twitter, edu_trades. And I have a website, edu-trades.com. And feel free to, whenever you want. I'm really like active on Instagram and Twitter. So whenever you guys want to, share things, definitely hit me up.
Great. Eduardo, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No, thank you, man. It was great being here, and I hope this will be useful for a lot of people. Even if it's one, it will be great even if it's one. So
If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. Thanks for watching.